4 years ago, way back in 2020, Sonos launched their flagship soundbar, the Arc. Since then, it has been the best-selling soundbar in the premium space. Simply put, if you want the standard bearer, the Arc is the soundbar to buy. But that is not to say that Sonos couldn't improve on some things. Now, we have the solution they came up with, the Arc Ultra. A full-size 9.1.2 Dolby Atmos playing, Bluetooth streaming centerpiece for a Sonos home theater system. This is Sonos' new flagship soundbar, and from the outside, not much has changed. This is an excellent decision on their part. The Arc Ultra is a tad shorter and less deep than the original, but just as wide. It looks premium, it feels premium. Available in black or white, the fit and finish are fantastic. Most importantly, they look good sitting out in your space. There are a couple noticeable exterior changes with the Arc Ultra, and they provide more convenience and connectivity. Up top, there's now a touch slider that you move your finger across to change volume. Around the back, there's a physical switch that will power down the internal microphone used to call up Sonos voice controller Alexa for those who want to guarantee privacy. Next to it, a button for Bluetooth pairing, something we're seeing in a lot more of Sonos' products, and a very welcome addition, I might add. To round out the connections, there is a single HDMI eARC port for the TV connection, and an Ethernet port for connection to your home network. Quick side note, I wish Sonos would add an additional HDMI input for pass-through to your TV. Not only would this allow for another connection to your system, but also allow for the Arc Ultra to receive Dolby Atmos from a device that supports it, even if your TV doesn't. So, they got the looks right and improved the physical interactions, but what's going on underneath the hood to make this the new flagship? First, a very short history lesson. Back in 2022, Sonos acquired a Dutch audio company called Mayht. Sonos was interested specifically in a new speaker technology Mayht had developed. These new transducers from Mayht allow for a much smaller footprint without sacrificing volume or sound reproduction. This is apparent when you realize the Arc Ultra is slightly smaller compared to the Arc, yet Sonos' engineers have managed to fit 3 more transducers in the Ultra compared to the original Arc, bringing us to a total of 14 drivers. This is what allows the Arc Ultra to reproduce 9.1.2 all on its own. 9 ear-level channels, 1 low-frequency channel, and 2 height channels. Now, that only adds up to 12 channels, and there are 14 transducers. Where'd the other 2 go? Sonos actually groups multiple transducers for greater impact, along with new waveguides that channel the sound around the room. All of this allows the Arc Ultra to reproduce Dolby Atmos and spatial audio for an immersive surround experience. To do this, Sonos also needed to improve the processing power. Sonos calls this combination of transducer and computing sound emotion. This will also allow for Sonos to push larger and possibly more complex updates to the soundbar as time goes on. We love that Sonos is thinking about the future, but I always tell folks to base your decision on what the product can do for you today. What the Sonos Arc Ultra can do right now is impressive. Most impressive. Starting with the basics, it's easy to set up. Plug in the power cord, run the included HDMI cable from the Arc Ultra to your TV, and that's it. All that is left is to download the Sonos app to your phone, set up an account, and connect to your soundbar. It is important to note that the Arc Ultra will not play sound from your TV unless it has been paired with your account and that the soundbar's firmware is up to date. Sonos has placed its products into their own ecosystem for features and connectivity through its app. Apps will occasionally gain or lose features or be redesigned completely, as Sonos did with theirs in early 2024. If you're someone who isn't interested in getting and using the Sonos app, you might want to look at a different soundbar. Once everything is set up, we can dive into the app. You'll set up a room for your Arc Ultra, and you can group it with other Sonos devices you may have. You also have the option to pair it to a subwoofer and surround speakers, but we'll get into that later. After designating where you've placed your Arc Ultra, you'll calibrate it to the room using TruePlay. There are now 2 TruePlay options for this. The legacy option uses an iPhone only and has you walk around the room moving the phone up and down to get detailed readings. The newer TruePlay is called QuickTune and can utilize either an iPhone or Android device. You'll sit in your main listening position, hold the phone up to ear level, and the Arc Ultra will take a quick series of readings to calibrate. After trying both in a medium-sized room, I couldn't tell a difference. Both sounded great. Once the logistics are out of the way, you're free to change the bass and treble, adjust the levels of the height audio, and activate speech enhancement. This feature has 3 levels, all designed to help improve the clarity of dialogue in movies and shows. The ability to change audio parameters in Sonos' app is fairly sparse, so don't go looking for a multi-band EQ anywhere. This does have the intended effect of keeping setup simple and accessible. You can connect your favorite services like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and others. The Arc Ultra offers Apple AirPlay 2 and Spotify Connect for higher quality playback from your personal devices. With all that connectivity in place and the Arc Ultra setup, what happens when you finally hit play? First, the Arc Ultra gets loud. Very loud. Too loud at full volume to use in my apartment, or in a house, say, where folks are asleep. Although there is a night sound mode to help with the latter issue. Not to mention, the soundbar can hand off duties to a pair of Sonos Ace headphones if you'd really like to watch undetected. Unlike some soundbars, the Arc Ultra doesn't lose its bass presence when turned up. In fact, the bass is good throughout the range of dynamics. It won't fool folks who are used to having a dedicated sub in the room, and it's not going to shake your pictures off the wall, but it does a great job. Music is handled reasonably well, especially if you're playing something for ambient listening, making dinner, having a get-together, or working on a project. I listen to a good deal of relaxing lo-fi while prepping for this very video. Also, you will never play a podcast from your phone again if you're near the Arc Ultra. You may think that wouldn't matter for a simple conversation format, but the difference is staggering. That being said, don't expect to sit on the couch in front of the Arc Ultra for a critical listening session. Sonos has products better suited to that, including the Era 100 or 300 set in a stereo pair. The stereo field here is wide, and spatial audio comes through on tracks mixed that way, but in the lower mid-range, where a lot of vocals and guitars and synths live, the Arc Ultra feels thin. Throwing a fully mixed movie at the soundbar is where it comes alive. It should. This is its bread and butter. On a Dolby Atmos mix, the sound field is wide, wider than it is tall. When watching, I like to turn the height channel volume up a couple notches to really hear its impact. The sound field has dimensionality. Certain effects in the movie or show will seem to almost hang in the air. Particles in the dream sequences of Oppenheimer, for instance. The bass also can hold its own for those classic Nolan hits. My favorite aspect is how cohesive the sound is. You can hear sound around you, but never from where it emanates on the bar. That sounds obvious, but a lot of other Atmos soundbars don't do this well. With some others, you hear the sound come from the left, center, or right on the bar at the same time you hear it in the sound field. It can be really distracting, but I heard no such problems here. Browsing around on Atmos-finished films and prestige TV shows, everything is well represented on the Arc Ultra. The soundstage, wide and tall as it may be, is mainly in front of you. This makes sense as the bar is in front of you. But do not think that things will be zooming around in an all-encompassing 3D bubble. Fighter jets, tornadoes, Jason Bourne's punches, the echoing crowds of the Eras tour, the creaking and crumbling buildings in The Last of Us, all the usual go-tos for listening to an Atmos-capable system sound great. They really do. Speaking of Eras, pair the Arc Ultra to a pair of Era 300 speakers in the rear and you'll break that soundstage wide open for that complete immersive effect. If big, high-budget movies and TV is your go-to, they are a must. But, in my experience, that's not what most of TV watching is. It's The Office, Parks and Rec, The Great British Baking Show, Community, Doctor Who, or 7 hours of commercial-free football. The countless YouTube creator channels, and Bluey. For all its wizardry and high-tech processing, for all the waveguides and transducers, this is where the Arc Ultra hits its stride. It just makes TV sound, for lack of a better term, right. It's hard to explain in a video review, but trust me, you'll hear it and just enjoy the show. Nothing sounds off, nothing is hard to hear, and you aren't trying to keep track of where a bullet is or if the sound of rain on a tin roof is really above you. Because the Arc Ultra, like the Arc before it, just works. It's easy to set up and easy to use. This is why the Arc has been the best-selling soundbar in its range since its introduction, and why I have no doubt the Arc Ultra will continue that trend. It's just the one you buy. Now, there is a bonus point to discuss here, and one other component of the Sonos ecosystem I think is almost a must. It will make the largest, most immediate change in how you listen to everything on the Arc Ultra. Sonos is also introducing the 4th generation of its larger subwoofer called the Sub Gen 4. The looks are the same, except they have ditched the fingerprint magnet high gloss, white or black, for a matte finish, a welcome change. They've also put in Wi-Fi 6 for a better connection and upgraded the processing, just like the Arc Ultra. As great as these upgrades are, adding the Gen 4 to your system at all is a massive step up. Tap a button to tell the app where your Arc Ultra room is, put your phone up to the NFC reader on the side of the Sub to pair it, and you are off. The benefit of having a subwoofer is not as much as the industry tries to convince you otherwise, to blow your hair back like you're in a windstorm. It's to fill out the bottom end, all those double-digit hertz frequencies the transducers in this Arc Ultra just physically can't produce. Almost no matter what you're watching or listening to, you'll hear the difference. a little more support in the soundscape, a little tighter hug from the mix. Make no mistake, the Sub Gen 4 can get loud. Picture rattling on the wall loud, but Sonos has taken the care to not let it get boomy or messy. It is a tight bass response, whether it's music or a movie you're listening to. And I don't know what kind of processing is going on between the crossover of the Arc Ultra and the Gen 4, but it is silky smooth and very hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. This is true to Sonos in all of its speaker integration and one of their greatest assets. Because we don't listen to speakers, we listen to the music or the movie or the show. The Arc Ultra is pretty good at the low end, the Sub 4 completes the experience. If you're interested in the Arc Ultra or the Sub Gen 4, or just simply curious about the wide range of products Sonos has on offer, don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Crutchfield.